Let's jump right into it. This is my 2020 bullet journal flip through from front to back. I only started in July, but I'm really happy that I started this. I'm really happy that I started with a Scribbles That Matter journal because it came with the key already spaced out. All I had to do was input my codes. As you can see, there's an index that I did not use, which I didn't think I would, but I do have plans for that index in 2021. I created a grid cheat sheet, and then my first quote page, everyone smiles in the same language written in Spanish, French, and Japanese. I wanted to keep track of things that I wanted to check out, so I've got lists of books, podcasts, movies, and shows that I want to read or watch, and then my motto for myself for 2020 was I'm 30 and I'm cool, since I did turn 30 this year. My yearly outlook, I used my stamps that I got from Amazon, which are linked below, to have the dates for each month, and I have important dates written below that. This page for notes, news, and ideas, just a bunch of random things that I needed to jot down and needed to have with me at all times. So July is the first month that I started, and I really didn't know what I was doing. And that's the great thing about bullet journaling. You never really know what you're doing. You just do what feels good. Whatever I need to be productive, whatever I need to be happy, that is exactly what I started with, and that is exactly what I put in here. There's not a concurrent theme. There doesn't always have to be a theme. There's not a specific color pattern. There doesn't always have to be a consistent color pattern throughout the journal. What's important is that I like it and it's actually useful and it makes me happy and it makes me feel good. So as you can see, all of these weekly spreads in July were very simple, very basic, straight to the point, and I enjoyed it. I was more productive in July, granted with a lot fewer things going on, but more productive in July than I have been in a while. The last week of July, I decided to do my first French door, and it went really well. I was really proud of that. I didn't think it would look too great in my journal, but it did. For the month of August, as you guys know, I went with the Steven Universe theme. If every pork chop was perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs, and that is the epitome of this journal. It is not perfect, but it is mine, and I love it just as much as I love hot dogs. For August, I decided to go with a smaller monthly calendar because I used 2 full pages in July, and I didn't actually need that much space. And then my quote page here in August, Life, Death, Love and Birth, and Peace and War on the Planet Earth, which is one of my favorite songs in the Steven Universe show. For my habit trackers, I had printed out different scenes from the show and from the movie, and I didn't really know where I was going to put them, but I ended up putting them here, which turned out really well because I could just stamp the days on top of that. And then for my mood tracker, I used the butterflies from my favorite Steven Universe song, Here Comes a Thought, which of course is about Steven and Connie's relationship and their existence as Davinci. For the first week, I just wanted to put all the crystal gems there. Yes, I know aquamarine is not a crystal gem, but my birthstone is aquamarine, so I had to put her in there. For the next week, it's just a bunch of Stevens, which was really cute and really fun to look at. I really enjoyed just laughing at all the different faces of Steven for that week. And the next week, I knew I didn't have a lot going on, so I actually only did 1 page on the right for my weekly planning. And on the left side, I just put some more characters and some of my favorite lines from their songs throughout the history of the show. In this space, I used most of the rest of the stickers that I had, and I don't know if you can see it, but in pencil, I wrote out lyrics to the song Change Your Mind. I haven't really settled on how I want it to look, so I haven't finalized it. Eventually I will, but for now, I want that to be perfect. That is one thing. I want that page to be absolutely perfect, so I haven't filled it in yet. And then for the last week, I have a couple more characters. We've got Pumpkin and Sapphire there, and that week was pretty busy because we were traveling at the end of that week, so there's quite a few things on this spread. Moving on to September, as some of you may know, we lost our dog in August. tragically and unexpectedly, and I was really, really sad about it. And so what I ended up doing for the 2 weeks following his passing was just coloring in a Hallmark coloring book that my mother got me for Christmas one year. So the entire theme for September is Can You Handle the Truth? And that's what this fortune cookie slip says right there. And the truth is, I was sad. I had to let myself be sad and then let myself get over it and keep moving forward. So all of the pictures, all of the colorings are pages and pictures from my coloring book that I was coloring while I was sad about my dog. I cut them out and placed them around the spread as I wanted to, and I think it turned out really well. There were a couple other pictures that I colored, but I didn't have space for them for the entire month, and so I just keep them in the book with the rest of the pages that I have yet to color. September was not a very busy month, and so a lot of these spreads are not very filled in, as you can see. There really wasn't much going on. We were just working and trying not to be sick. I tried another French door, this time with a border color around the edge, which I think turned out well, but it was really bright, and I didn't actually want to write a lot of things in those spaces because I just thought the colors looked really nice. And then for the last 2 weeks of September, the picture that I used for my coloring book, I actually cut it up and put it on 2 separate pages, so those 2 weeks kind of blend in together. And these were the 2 weeks when I decided, okay, I'm done being sad, I'm done being hurt, it still hurts and I'll miss my dog, of course, but now I really have to move on, have to keep going and keep being a good owner for the dog that I still have, and keep going with life. So October, I decided in October to do a lot of drawing since I did stickers in August and coloring pages in September. October was the month to wear my hands out, which I did a good job of. So the haiku that I came up with for the beginning of the month was autumn is the best, football lattes, scarves on deck, peace is what I have. And I did feel very peaceful. So on this cover page on the left side, I've got my football lattes and scarf on deck, and I think the fox and the pumpkin really made the October stand out. For my mood tracker, I just put a bunch of different things that remind me of October, and for my habit tracker, I did something different. I did vertical tracking instead of individual blocks, and I kind of like that. The first week is lattes, again staying in sync with the theme of my haiku from the beginning of the month. The next week is scarves on deck, a really simple theme. It didn't take me a lot of time to put this one together, but I really like how it turned out because, again, this wasn't really a busy week except for a couple days in the middle of the week. I had a lot of fun during this third or fourth week. This is now the 4th week of October. I had a lot of fun with this drawing on the left side. It's basically the witch's room. So she's got her cauldron and her hat and all of her potions and things on the shelf. And then we're looking at this from her desk where she's got her tiny little spell book and candles. I really, really enjoyed drawing and coloring that. I also really enjoyed my Happy Halloween picture here on the last week of October. Came out really well. Basically a spooky but colorful Halloween scene. So I really like that. For the month of November, I wanted to stick to something that I was thankful for because of the Thanksgiving holiday, but I didn't want it to be about the holiday or food. And so I decided to go with the rainy day theme, and it's kind of a recreation of what Amanda Rachley did back in April 2018, I believe. So my quote here, there is always something to be thankful for. And for me, I am always very thankful for rain and cloudy days. I love the sunshine, but just as much as I love sunny, clear days, I love dark, cloudy, stormy days. This is also the first time I used drop shadows anywhere in my journal, and that turned out a lot better than I thought it would, and I kind of got addicted to that, as you'll see in December. For my habits with the vertical tracking, instead of tracking from top to bottom, I was tracking from bottom to top, which I kind of fell off with some of these habits over the course of the month, which is fine, but as you can see, it's kind of sporadic. My mood tracker is also sporadic. I didn't want the water drops to be in straight lines because that's not how water works. It's not how rain works. Another page for notes, news, and thoughts. Even with the 2 pages in the very front of my journal, I still needed more space to write notes, news, and thoughts and things that are happening, especially since we moved into our new home in November. And so I ended up really enjoying having that space. I was so excited and still am so excited about this spread. I put a book in my book. It's so adorable. It's so cute. It's perfect. Unfortunately, I was sick that week, so I didn't use it as much as I wanted to, but I love how my tiny book turned out. And this was the next week where I was still sick. As you can see, it is a very simple theme. Thankfully, I had already planned on it being that simple, so me being sick really didn't have any negative effect, and it still turned out really well. I don't remember what happened this week. Unfortunately, this week is very much a blur in my mind. I set up the spread, and as you can see, I barely wrote anything down for the week, and I have no idea what I did that week. But the next week I know was Thanksgiving, and thanks to my family, I will forever have these recipes in my life. I don't ever have to worry about how do I make the lasagna, how do I make the greens, how do I make the candied yams. I have all the ingredients and all of the steps on the right side of the page. Obviously, because of the holiday, I didn't have a lot going on during the week, so on the left side, the clouds are pretty empty. And for the last month in this journal, we have December. I tried to do a watercolor thing that I saw on TikTok on the left side. It didn't really work out like I wanted it to, but it doesn't look terrible. And then on the right side, for the December header, I just put a bunch of different things that remind me of December, things that happen around the month of December, and I use those throughout these themes following. So here we go again with the drop shadows. I actually didn't like how this came out the very first time I did it, and so I ended up coloring over some of the drop shadows to make them all different shades of red and green, and it looks really, really good. Because December is the first month in our new home, I needed a space for expenses so I could track all the money we were spending and all the bills. Also, I needed a space for gifts for my family, and I needed to plan for the new year, moving into a new journal because there aren't enough pages in this journal for the year, and improving myself for the new year as well. For my habit tracker and mood tracker, again, simple things. This time though, with my habit tracker, instead of stamping the dates or writing numbers, I just had the boxes and I would color them in or draw a line depending on how much I fulfilled those habits each day. The first week, not a lot going on. I got these stamps from an Amazon catalog, which I didn't even know existed, but I thought they were really cute and I wanted to put them in the snow globe. The next week is mostly about ornaments. I've got a bunch of different ornaments down at the bottom. Again, simple, but I knew I was going to start to do a lot of planning for a lot of different things, and so I didn't want to make it too complicated. This is probably one of my favorite things that I've drawn in my journal. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It's so adorable and kind of I guess you would call a horizontal Dutch door. I'm not exactly sure what this is called, but I left the top part of the pages and I cut the bottom half so I could have space to write things for the next week. As you can see, I didn't write much for the next week, but I had the space there and I liked how it looked. So every year, for the last 2 weeks of the year, roughly the last 2 weeks of the year, I take time to reflect on what I did throughout the year, what I enjoyed, what I learned, things that I did wrong, ways that I messed up, mistakes that I don't want to make again. And I also think about things that I want to try, new things that I haven't done. And so the beginning of the end of the year begins with mindfulness. And so that's what that whole page is, just a lot of different quotes about mindfulness. Now, as I'm recording this, obviously, I haven't put anything in these days, but each day, usually on the bottom half of the page, I am using that space to write down things that I want to start, stop, or continue. And at the end of the year, on the last day, I will go back and read all of them and compile that into one message to myself, basically. This is a collage of my best moments, just written down in simple sentences, things that I accomplished this year, things that I experienced this year that I really enjoyed. And then my year in review is pictures of some of those same things that I enjoyed, but also things that aren't as enjoyable but had a really big impact. For instance, losing Maverick in August. Obviously not enjoyable, but a big impact. In September, just being overwhelmed and hating how the whole year has turned out. Not positive, but a part of my life, and something that I can't escape, and I'm grateful for, I'm thankful for, even though I didn't like it, even though it was unpleasant, it was uncomfortable at times. Overall, I'm still alive, I still have my health, I still have family that loves me and supports me, and I still have a journal that I can put all of these thoughts in and keep going, so I'm thankful for that. The page that's folded is a secret. You can't see that. That is my notes for my next journal, so no peeking. So this is the end of the journal. These last pages I'm using for practicing my doodles, practicing different fonts for hand lettering and different pictures. On the left side here, these are some sketches that I've started for my January theme for 2021, which I'm very excited to show you guys, but my hand is definitely going to cramp up, so wish me luck there. And I'm just going to leave all of these pages blank for more practice with doodling. I've added my washi tape collection so I can see all of my washi tape, and I think I'll probably end up using that page for washi tape and that page behind it as well, because I do plan on getting crazy with the washi tape. I struggle with not buying washi tape every time I get on Amazon, which is basically every time I pick up my phone. So one thing I do know is I definitely don't like the thinner width of the washi tape. It doesn't look that good in the journal, so I probably will not be buying those. This page that says practice is where I tried to perfect the TikTok watercolor thing. That one actually looks better than the one that's in the beginning of December. That one on the left, I smudged with my hand, so it does not look better. And the one on the right is actually the very first one that I did. It wasn't blended enough, and I wasn't satisfied, so I just kept trying and eventually got what I got. One thing about the Scribbles That Matter journal is it comes with a pen test page and a mindfulness page. So like I said, at the end of the year, I will take some time to go through all of the things that I said I want to start, stop, and continue, and put that in one final thought on the mindfulness page in the back. And that's it. Thank you guys so much for following me on this journey. We have only just begun. I'm super excited to start a new year in a new journal. I hope you guys will join me for the continuation of my journey. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure you subscribe, like, comment, let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any ideas or if you've done something similar with your journal or what you're looking forward to in 2021. Leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much, and I will talk to you guys in the next one. Bye.